aloha friends. Game time with the GOSS, presented by Grey Wolf Promotions. I'm your host, Brian Gossett with GM Sports Media. Today's guests, I have from Keller Softball, senior pitcher Sadie Beck and assistant coach Jessica Pauls. Thanks for joining the program.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Well, if you're listening and kind of a softball fan, you probably already know what's been going on with Keller last weekend, but I'll try to give you a refresher here real quick. Playing in the second round in Midland against El Paso Eastwood. They take care of business on Thursday in game one. And then overnight, their charter bus was broken into, equipment, bags were stolen. They were able to find their bags before game two, but were without some equipment, bats, gloves, things like that. But got just an outpouring support. Facebook went viral, and a bunch of people from Midland, people from back home, were able to kind of help you out, and you guys were able to go out there and Friday night and win the game and advance to the regional quarterfinals. Jessica, I'll start with you, but can you kind of give me the timetable Friday? Did someone notify you? What time did you wake up and find out that the bus was broken into?
Yeah, sure. So, when we are traveling, we're big on routine. So we like to start our days as similar as we possibly can, even if we were back home. So we got the girls up at a normal time, got them down to eat breakfast. And then we told them the rest of the afternoon was on their own. Most of them were doing study hall work, school work, that type of stuff. And then we were going to roll out at 11:30 to have lunch and then go do BP on the field. And so we were loading up on the charter bus about 11:15. And our head athletic trainer, who was traveling with us this past weekend, needed a bag from underneath the charter bus. And so he went down to open up the bottom of the charter bus. And that's when we realized that everything was gone. All 18 bags, softball equipment, his athletic training equipment, it was all gone. It was empty charter bus on the bottom. There was I think one or two, like one bat bag that was left that I think got like tucked behind a corner that they couldn't see. A loose bat, and I think a shoe maybe was was left.
Okay, because I mean, I'm imagining, you wake up 7 or 8 or something, and maybe someone checks the bus, and I mean, it sounds like you didn't even realize the bus. It didn't look like it was even broken into.
No.
And it sounds like you guys without that leg trainer, you guys might have driven off and got into the field and, probably been in worse shape.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if we would have found out, we were talking about it, if we would have found out, an hour or two later, I mean, it could have thrown off the whole day even worse than it already was.
Sadie, what's as a player, when coaches, inform you that your stuff is gone. I know, like, for you, your glove has your name on it, and a lot of your teammates have other personalized items. Just what was your emotions when you learned things were gone?
Okay, so Cribs came up onto the bus and he told us he was like, guys, where'd y'all put your bags? And we all just looked around. We were like, what? Like, did we bring them in last night or something? And he's like, no, like, get down here. There's no bags underneath the bus. And like, we thought he was joking until we got down there and we were like, oh my gosh, like the bags are gone. And so immediately everyone starts crying. Everyone like calls their parents. What do we do? Like, where are our bags? It was a mess. Everyone was full of emotions, like anger, confusion, like really sadness. We just didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
So,
Jessica. So I mean, now at this point, you're about 7 hours until game time, game two. I know you guys pushed it back to 8, but is that when you kind of contacted police, and then maybe a few hours later, you guys found at least your bags at a nearby apartment complex?
Yeah, so there's a massive perk to having a head coach that has a forensic and law enforcement background, as Coach Cribbs does. And so he immediately went into forensic and law enforcement mode which, to be honest, isn't much different than his regular mode. Still intense and detail oriented. Um, but he immediately put a timeline in place and a plan in place, and remained calm, cool, and collective. And I think once a lot of the girls realized kind of Cribbs's nature and my nature and the rest of our staff nature, that we were like, okay, it's not the end of the world. Items can be replaced. We just kind of have to put a plan together. Um, and so one of our players, Landry Beeman, remembered that her mom um cut the lining of her catcher's bag and slid an air tag underneath the lining of her catcher's bag, which, shout out to Apple. If it wasn't for an air tag, we probably wouldn't have hardly found anything. Um, so they were able to track the bags to an apartment complex in Odessa, which I want to say is what, about 45 minutes,
Yeah, 30, 40 minutes.
40 minutes from Midland. Um, and so of course our parents, as passionate as they are, parent mode, and a lot of them drove over there to try and find the bag if it was tossed or in a parking lot or something. And so they found, what I want to say, 4 or 5 empty bags in a dumpster at the apartment complex. So all the equipment was still gone. We just happened to find some of the bags, which still had like water bottles and a pair of sunglasses and a towel probably left in it. About it.
Yeah, Sadie, I think is that where you found your face mask to pitch?
Yes, so it was the weirdest thing ever. Like she said, they had pretty much everything in them except for bats and gloves. So we had our elbow guards, face masks, sunglasses. Some people were still missing those things though, so it was like so random. We weren't really sure what the rhyme or rhythm there was, but yeah, it was just a bunch of little miscellaneous things that we found.
Talking with Jessica Pauls and Sadie Beck from Keller Softball. Curious, Sadie, and I'm guessing you would have bought another face mask, or maybe you had an alternate face mask. But I mean, can you pitch without a face mask? I mean, it's got to be probably a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I would not want to do that. Whenever I was younger, I used to always dream of pitching with that one, but now I don't think I could do that. It's just too close and the girls hit the ball too hard. But I didn't want to wear my own face mask after it was in the dumpster. So look, the other moms let me borrow a brand new face mask. And so I
Okay.
actually got that one, even though they did find mine. I was kind of grossed out by the fact that it was in the trash. So I just wore a different one for that game, but I think I'll just clean it up and wear it again.
And so I mentioned Facebook quickly did their thing, and I believe Jessica, your sister, was the one to kind of do it first, Michaela, and it went like viral with over 200 shares, and then I was kind of able to piggyback off of it. But um, what was kind of like the next 2, 3, 4 hours like? I mean, was your Twitter, was emails, was your text messages just blowing up about, hey, we want to help you out?
Yeah, I mean, it was. You always have that thought of like, what's it like to be famous? And it felt like that for I think the next like 4 hours, because my phone did not stop ringing for the next 4 hours. And not only was my phone ringing, my dad's phone was ringing. My parents were in town. The front desk phone at the hotel was ringing because I stayed down in the lobby. And I have a family group chat that has my parents and my sisters and my husband and everything in it. So that's kind of like our mass communication with my family. And so of course when everything went down, I sent a text out to our family group chat, and that's when my sister initiated the post. And it was crazy how fast it spread. It just in a matter of less than an hour. And the next thing I know, we have just random people from the amazing town of Midland that were driving to the hotel, got the address, figured out where we were dropping off helmets and gloves and bats and batting gloves and just all of these just items for us to use. The local DBAT in Midland dropped off like 8 demo bats for us to use. Um, it was just, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it was just the fact that all these people just wanted to help a team from Keller in the playoffs that they hadn't no really emotional ties to.
Now, I mean, is it like, are they letting you borrow these things, or are they actually giving it away, donating it, or did you have to return those things?
Yeah, so some items were donated and given to us to, to keep. A lot of the items that we borrowed though. So, we gave the demo bats back to DBAT. A lot of the gloves we borrowed. But what was cool was a lot of the gloves that we borrowed were members of the Midland community, so they all actually came out to the game to support us, and we were able to give those items back after the game, which made it obviously a lot easier.
Awesome. And I know some of the parents went to go shopping at Dick's Sporting Goods, and the staff there was able to kind of chip in a discount. So shout out to them. And then I guess several family and friends back home in DFW even made the 4 to 5 hour trip just to drop off, something. I think Sadie, maybe you got your glove from DFW.
Yes, I got my glove, my bat, and another face mask from my house. One of Carly Genzer, her mom, she drove to my house, and luckily my brother was home. So I had called him like whenever everything went down, and I was like, "Can you gather these few things, please? Like a lady's coming by the house, you got to give them to her. Like it's quick, you got to hurry." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Kim, grab the stuff." And so she came by all the way to my house, and I think she made more rounds, and she made the drive all the way out. Got there about 6 o'clock. It was awesome that she came all the way from Keller to us just to grab stuff for us.
Hmm.
Now, did I see like even a team or two from DFW? Maybe Birdville or some, I don't know. I thought I saw on Facebook that a team helped out.
Yeah, I obviously have a great relationship with Katie, with Coach Welborn over there at Birdville. Her and I grew up together, and a lot of the girls I believe are friends with a lot of the players from Birdville. Um, so I think we ended up getting a couple bats and a couple gloves from some of the athletes from Birdville as well too. And what's crazy is it hasn't stopped. I get home from practice today. Hold on. There's a box on the front porch addressed to me, and for once I didn't order something. Uh, it has a handwritten note in it. Sadie, you don't even know about this yet. Uh, and it says, "We're terribly sorry that your things were stolen. We really hope these batting gloves will help you guys out. Thank you, GE Graphics. Good luck." And it's a box of 24 different like patterned batting gloves
Oh my gosh.
from a company out of New Mexico. And
Oh,
we just dropped a card, and I believe it's a slow pitch company out of New Mexico.
That's
um
awesome.
and so I mean it's just people wanting to help us out of the kindness of their heart. I mean, there's shows that there's still so much good in the world, and I think
So
I
it
think the world
it even reached New Mexico.
yeah.
is crazy.
So Sadie, so it sounds like you were able to play with a glove, your glove, maybe an alternate glove.
Yes.
Okay,
It
so
was
I mean, I don't know how many girls were able to do that. I mean, were the most girls, most of the other players playing with a different glove, or were they
yeah.
playing with?
I,
Okay,
I almost everybody was playing with an unfamiliar glove. Luckily, the one I was using is my Texas Glory glove from the summer, and I use it every week at my lessons for pitching anyways. So I was very familiar with that glove, luckily, but like Kaya Fabella, she had used a completely different catcher's glove, and I know that's not easy. So props to her. Like Carly
Carly,
Gant, different glove at first. They all did incredible though adjusting, and there was no excuses made. No dropping a ball and saying, "Oh, well, it was the glove's fault. I'm not used to it." Like everybody was just great. They were grateful for what they had, and they went out there and played a ball game with a completely random glove. In the circles, every inning, I would be like, "Look at all these foreign gloves," and we would all just laugh. And I think we went into something like exciting and fun that so many people had our backs in the community.
well, I think a lot of us over here back home, we're thinking that you guys were playing with like brand new gloves from Dick's. Maybe a lot of them were donated gloves, so perhaps you didn't really have to break in, these gloves, which you guys know that this takes longer than half a day to do, but so that luckily that was good for you guys, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I mean, going into the game, just I'm sure warm-ups were a little different. Um, just what I mean, what is going through your mind? I know you got all these new equipment and the game's pushed back. I mean, it's got to be kind of a weird feeling and a different feeling than what you're used to.
Yes, it was definitely a different feeling than we were used to. Everyone trying new bats at like during pregame hitting, everyone using random gloves. And I think the main thing we were all like our one goal we set before the game was no excuses, like I mentioned earlier. And so during pregame, no one complained about the bats, no one complained about the gloves. We were all just using what we had, and we knew our one goal was to win and to make everyone proud of us for helping us. The one thing we didn't want to do is go out there and lose a ball game after this whole state had our backs and other states clearly. So I think it fired us up to go out there and play a good ball game like we did.
Jessica, I mean, you've been involved in softball for many years. I know you talked about this a little bit on CBS, but to see all those different areas, Midland, DFW, now New Mexico, I mean, just to see that support and truly see how big the softball community is. What's it say?
I mean, there's sports is intense. There's so much competition and there's so much, energy and heart and drive that goes into it. But, there's a small reminder there's a lot of things in life that are bigger than softball, and it really is. And as big as softball is to my life, and I know to Sadie's life and to the rest of our program, there are things that are bigger in this world. And looking out for one another and being, a good human is one of those things. And the fact that we were just given so much love and so much passion, I think, allowed the girls to step back and say, wow, like, look at all this good that's happening out of, somebody breaking into our charter bus. And, just we have gained so many Keller softball fans just by doing exactly what Sadie did, what Sadie said we did. We showed up, we made no excuses, we played with borrowed equipment, and we won. And I think that was the best thing we could have done because we put everything aside, made no excuses. And Sadie actually came up with our new saying for playoffs, which is, it's the Indian, not the arrow.
Okay,
And
so actually, McKenna said that to me in pregame, but
oh,
she said
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Indian. So, and then I went and told you, but props to me. She said it's not the spirits the Indian. So that kind of, it was
Perfect. Shout out. That's
yeah,
awesome. That's awesome. That I mean that even makes it better. Like that was obviously the whole mindset of the team, and so like that goes to show, where our mindset was. But the fact that there was just so many like just amazing human beings that stepped up and just helped a bunch of girls that they had no ties to just made me love this game even more than I already do, to be honest with you.
That's awesome. And of course, this story, you did win, so there's some good news. But of course, even better news. The next morning, Saturday, you guys were able to find a bunch of your bats and gloves on the side of the highway. Uh, like Sadie with her personalized glove, and I believe McKenna got her glove back, aka Daphne, which I learned her name's Daphne. Um, and then you go back to Keller. I mean, what did you get back 100% of it or close to 100% of your items?
so
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, Sadie.
not everybody got their bats back. I believe everybody got their gloves back. But there were a few people that got some bats back, but not all of them. I think everybody that's missing a bat got at least one back, but
Mhm.
are missing like one or two of theirs, which was really weird. So we have no idea
Was
who.
bats being damaged too from being tossed outside of the highway?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Answer's bat has like a whole like she said road rash down the whole thing like this thick, but it's like that much of the bat. It's like the entire barrel that's just all scuffed up. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah. Well, at least you guys got a lot of your the gloves. I know a lot of those hold, special memories. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Jessica Pauls and Sadie Beck with Keller softball. I'll get you out on this. You guys are going to the regional quarterfinals, game one on Thursday. 3 game set with a very familiar opponent in 4-6A district mate Eaton. Um, having played them twice, Sadie, I mean, how do you view a playoff district, kind of rematch? I mean, having played them twice, um, you know what kind of the things you did successful in those 2 games, but also at the same time, it's um, they get more looks at you. I mean, is it an advantage having to play Eaton again 2 more times?
I think it is an advantage and it's not at the same time. I think we're trying to look at it the same way as we looked at Central last year in postseason round 3, just like this. You can't overlook any teams just because we beat them twice in district means nothing. District means nothing now. All we have to do is go out there and focus on our game, put up the runs early, work good on defense, and we can't look past any team at this point. It doesn't matter if we beat them twice already this year. Like they're doing good right now. They're putting up 8+ runs in all their games recently. So I think if we go in with the mindset, oh, we've already beat them twice, that won't be good for us. So we're all definitely focusing on going in, putting the runs on them, and ending it early, hopefully.
And Jessica, what's it say about this district? We're 3 rounds in now, and all 4 of you guys are still playing. Keller, Eaton, and then Salt Lake, Carroll, and Timber Creek have a 3 game set here in this week. But to be just one of 2 districts in DFW, North Texas area, to still be playing in round 3 with all 4, just what can you say about this district?
There's so much talent in this district. It's incredible. And the fact that we have our top 4 teams that are still in the playoffs says so much about that talent. There's so many girls in this district that play travel ball together and play high level travel ball together. And not only that, the coaching that we have in this district is some of the best because all of our coaching staffs from top to bottom have been involved in softball for so long, have so much softball knowledge, are have so much talent on the staff, and are just amazing people to work with and to work alongside with. And so I mean, it truly is an honor to be in this district alongside, so many talented programs and so many talented coaches.
So including this week, next week, and the following week, it's still Region One playoffs. It's all 8 DFW teams, so travel is not really an issue. But looking back on this experience, if you ever take a charter bus, are those bags and equipment coming into the hotel room too? Awesome. Well, it was kind of bittersweet to follow this story. Obviously, in the beginning, devastating, but to see this softball community rally behind you guys for you guys to win and then to get most of your items back. I think Jessica with CBS the other day said it kind of felt like a movie or something. So we're just glad that you guys got stuff back, and congratulations on moving on.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
All right, that's Keller softball pitcher Sadie Beck and assistant coach Jessica Pauls. Again, regional quarterfinals for them start on Thursday, game 1 against Eaton. So go check them out. And for another episode of Game Time with the GOSS, powered by Grey Wolf Promotions. If you want to check out some of the best fan merchandise, check them out at greywolfpromotions.com. Check us out, gmsportsmedia.com. And thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.